your permission?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Please play Saraswati Vandana and Prajwalana of Lamp.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा।
A very good morning to all of you. A very, very warm welcome to our today's chief guest of inaugural session, Vinod Chaudhary ji, Vice President Business and Geo Head America, Infosys, United States. He is a very, very seasoned corporate leader and has been deeply involved with human capital index development. Our very distinguished member secretary, AICTE, Professor Rajiv Kumar, a visionary and dynamic academic leader. ATAL team, our ATAL team, which organizes all these inaugural sessions, coordinators of different faculty development programs, dear participants, it is indeed my proud privilege to address these inaugural sessions of faculty development programs of ATAL Academy. ATAL is actually AICT's Training and Learning Academy. And AICT is the highest apex level government regulator for technical education in India. You may all be very much aware of that national education policy. It was launched in 2020, a very, very ambitious and transformative policy. It is trying to provide holistic education, global standard education to all Indians, but their value system, their ethos must be very deeply embedded in Indian systems, in our Indian traditions and values. And when we talk about such a transformative, such an empowering national education policy, what is it needed and what is at its core? Its core, or for that matter, the core of teaching learning process is always competent, committed, passionate teachers, faculty members. And it is a cascading impact. And I always say, almost in all my ATAL Academy's inaugural sessions, that where does the influence of a teacher start and where does it end? Probably we don't really know, because each one of us would contribute and would like to dedicate our successes somewhere or the other to our respective teachers. Now, when we want to have that kind of committed teachers, and with there is a common consensus, I think all of you would agree with me, that disruptive technological advancement and outburst of COVID pandemic, there is a paradigm shift in teaching learning process. There is a shift in academic landscape. Our futuristic education, or for that matter, even the extent education, is highly collaborative. It is cross-institutional, cross-cultural, multi-directional, enabling convergence of men and machine. And then we need to explore new pedagogies. Our core domain knowledge has been shifting from specific mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, electronics engineering. That may be the fundamental basis, but then we have embedded systems, we have artificial intelligence, we have machine learning, we have Internet of Things. So when we talk about all these emerging areas, then how do we actually train our teachers in these aspects of core domain technical knowledge? That is part one. Number two is we have taught our teachers these domain knowledge, our faculty members. What kind of pedagogy is needed? What kind of integrated technological approach is needed? Third thing is, when we have even tried to empower them with these pedagogies, these technical training approaches, then what kind of evaluation pattern, what kind of examination reformatory patterns need to be devised to ensure that students are assessed on those holistic parameters. So it is this comprehensive training where Attal Academy has come into picture. This academy has trained more than few lakhs, more than few. In fact, if we only look at 21-22, which would end on 31st of March, we have trained more than 2.5 lakh faculty members. And it is an ongoing continuous process. We are training our faculty members in domain knowledge. We are teaching, we are trying to uh, impart knowledge on pedagogical skills, including highly integrated technological advancements, examination reforms, various evaluation patterns, which we did. AICTE is doing with Stanford University. And then we are also trying to take a holistic view and imbibe that, various life skills, how time management, how stress management, how gender sensitivity, how inclusivity, all the intangible yet some of them measurable aspects can be deeply embedded into being a teacher. So we have towering challenges, and with these towering challenges, meticulous, relevant, comprehensive, continuous, project-based, experiential, hands-on teaching learning process is mandatory. And this is our endeavor, this is our effort to bring in tangible improvement in the quality of technical education in our country. But this can only happen when all of you, my dear, my very distinguished, my very respected coordinators, when you really, really get involved and pay highest priority to these faculty development programs. Please take them very, very seriously. Quality is imperative, and quality is our utmost dedicated motto. We are trying to bring in peer review assessment and learning curve, that is pre-FDP and post-FDP learning curve, and a comparison of that learning curve to ensure that we understand whether that the kind of faculty development program we are delivering at Attal, are they making the right impact? Are they making the right kind of training, or are they actually addressing the training needs? We are trying to design them in a manner, we are taking it for the next year, where hopefully, and if everything goes well, part of it would be in an online mode where concepts and other things can be taught, and all experiential learning, all learning where hands-on training is needed, visit to industry, visit to all the maybe Institute of Eminence, multidisciplinary universities, incubation centers would be in offline mode. So we are progressing towards the blended mode. I seek your cooperation, I seek your support, and kindly be with us. Thank you so very much, Binodji, for being with us. Now I would request our member secretary, Professor Rajiv Kumar, to address this August gathering. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mamtaji. First of all, I welcome Shri Binod Chaudhary ji, Senior Vice President, Infosys USA, for being the part of this inaugural function. My own colleague, Mamta Agrawal ji, coordinators of 18 faculty development programs, and team Attal, who is always instrumental in making all these programs success from starting to end, and dear participants, very happy good morning to each and everyone. Mamta ji gave a very good brief of these faculty development program. I will just share why AICTE created all these Attal academies across country, and why AICTE is conducting this faculty development program, although AICTE is a regulatory body. Chaudhary Sahab, I will like to share the genesis of Attal Academy. In 2018, we prepared the prospective plan of the technical education in the country, and that prospective plan was prepared none other than the all industrial bodies in the country, and they gave us the recommendation. They identified certain areas which we call thrust areas, and the recommendation was that that AICT should impart education or should give approvals in the coming years only in these thrust areas. So we accepted the recommendation of the committee, prospective plan committee, and immediately we start giving approvals only in the thrust areas for the new institutions. But the immediate challenge was who will teach? Who will teach these new areas or emerging areas? Because the faculty, those who are in our engineering colleges, they got their qualification 10 years back, 20 years back. So they are not aware of these new technologies as far as teaching is concerned. So we immediately decided that we should conduct training to our faculty members. And it was not an easy task because imparting training immediately to 6 lakh, 7 lakh faculty members was not easy thing. But we started, and this pandemic gave this opportunity to us. Initially, we started in offline mode. We could train 40 or 50 faculty members in one faculty development programs. Then immediately pandemic started. We immediately converted to online mode, and we increased number of the faculty program because the technology always gives you advantage that you can cover more and more people. So in last year we conducted around 1,400 faculty development programs, and around 1,60,000 faculty members were trained. Then we were having experience this year. Our Attal cell, headed by Mamta Agarwal ji, they planned 1,500 faculty development programs, and by now, by today itself, more than 250,000 faculty members, they have already attended these faculty development programs and successfully attended these faculty development programs. And up to March, this figure will increase, I think, in thousands also. But when you are increasing the volume of something, and when you are conducting more and more faculty development programs, then the quality of these faculty development programs is also a challenge for us. So we realized this thing because we have increased number of faculty development programs. And one more thing, that these faculty development programs, they are being conducted by most of the reputed institutions in the country, say IITs, NITs, reputed universities and the institutions in the country. But still, we feel that we should have a check on the quality of these faculty development programs. So we conducted a team of very, very senior academicians and industrialists, experts, those who are working in these domain areas, to take the feedback of these faculty development programs. And this review team was not to find the fault in the faculty development programs. It was basically to give suggestions for the improvement of the quality of these faculty development program. And we got suggestions from our team, and we are analyzing the suggestions. Our Attal team is working very, very hard how to implement all these suggestions, which are for the betterment of the quality of the faculty development program in the coming years. So this, our Attal team, they are working on it, and by the next year, when we will announce faculty development programs for the next year, all such suggestions will be incorporated in the conduct of all such faculty development programs. So I wish all the coordinators, they will take all these faculty development programs very, very seriously, and whatever suggestions even coordinators wants to give us, I will request our Attal team that they should also share a Google form for the suggestions to the coordinator, so that we can improve the quality of these faculty development program to the level what is required to the industry. So with all these words, once again, I thank all the participants, coordinators, and Mr. Chaudhary for being part of this faculty inaugural session of this faculty development program. And your suggestion, Mr. Chaudhary, they are going to help in improving the quality, and your suggestions also will help how to conduct this faculty development program, so that there may be more involvement of the industry in more sessions. There is limited sessions presently for the industry in our faculty development programs. It is mandatory, but we need more and more industry participation should be there in that. So we need your support, we need your help. And I hope in time to come also, you will keep on giving us suggestions. With all these words, thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir. And as you have said, sir, technology has been the biggest enabler, and it is because of technology and our changed attitude to integrate technology that we could reach to masses, and we could actually train more than 2.5 lakh faculty members. And as sir has already advised us, we have circulated a Google form seeking all your expert feedback on Attal. As to what are your training need to do a need analysis. Without taking much time, I would just request Binod Chaudhary ji, currently Senior Vice President Business and Geo Head America Infosys. As I have said a while ago, formerly he has been Vice President Business Head E-commerce Reddit.com, Vice President and Business Head Commercial Lending at GE Capital, Senior Manager Consumer Lending at Citibank, Manager Logistics Maruti Udyog. He is a seasoned professional with more than 35 years of business experience, working with multinational organizations in different business verticals, be it technology, telecom, financial services, e-commerce, or automobiles. He has worked in India for 15 years and roughly 20 years in United States in very senior responsible positions, delivering consistent results, reporting into executive councils and boards. Part of the Infosys BPM Executive Council and Head of Policy Council, looking to contribute to the government's India's initiative, which involves global Indian workforce, increasing digitalization of the consumer and industrial commerce. It could also be an involvement in the role that India plays in other developing nations like Brazil and Mexico in the space of technology cooperation. Sir, we are looking forward to your valuable address and suggesting us as to what best can be done and what are the evolving technological trends in the industry. Thank you so very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Mamtaji. Good morning to Team Attal and the members of the academia. I am extremely delighted to be part of this forum. As you would have picked up, I work in the US geography, but before getting to the commercial world of US, I worked 15 years in India across various organizations. I have several things to share with you today. First of all, I want us to reflect what COVID has done to the world. And it is important because it is very likely that we will win COVID, but our ways of working during COVID will not change. Something very interesting that all of you are dealing with is this virtual learning process. Mamtaji talked about the virtual programs that you are running. It's now part of our lifestyle. It is there to stay. If you look at the virtual learning mechanism today, the backbone of it is technology. Augmented reality, virtual reality, these are all tools which we are using for immersive learning. That will continue to be there. What is interesting is not just the learning process, even doing business is almost virtual right now. 80% of the people currently do what they used to do from brick and mortar offices today from the comfort of their home. I'm sure all of you are aware that in the last 2 years, right in the middle of the pandemic, the biggest beneficiary of technology were the technology companies. Many of them have doubled their net worth, market value, in the last 2 years. Therefore, there is a huge opportunity leveraging technology for learning. I'll touch upon what Mamtaji talked about, the quality of the learning process. We need to keep an eye on that. Anything produced in mass is likely to lose the quality, and therefore there must be specific safeguards to ensure that the training programs continue to have the quality that is desired. Before going into that, I had an interesting thought. What occurred to me is that we constantly talk about disruptive technology, and we are searching for it all the time. And the purpose for which the disruptive technology is being brought in is often to do our businesses in a better way, faster way, cheaper way. But I want the group to think about something as the byproduct of this cutting edge technology. I am not being critical of the technologies that are coming in, but I want the forum to keep an eye on a byproduct of the cutting edge technologies that we are today bringing. I'm sure this audience knows that a lot of the products that we use in our day-to-day life comes out of cutting edge technology that we develop for some other purpose. Take the example of space research. Often people say, what is the big idea of going to the moon? India trying to put somebody on Mars. To my mind, it is not just getting to the Mars. It is also the fact that in the process of bringing in the technology to get to Mars, you invent products that comes into common household. Many of you would know that scratch resistant lenses, high grade firefighting equipments, things like insulin pumps, artificial limbs. These are all examples that are there today in our life because somebody put focus on space programs. You went out to build the space program. As a byproduct, a number of these beneficial things have happened to the society. The thing that I wanted to share with the forum is that similarly, there is a cutting edge technology that we bring in. And my concern today is, what is it doing to our future generation? Today, because of the technology and the ease with which information can be shared and distributed, I can safely say that we have no single source of truth. We are struggling with it. It is technology which is enabling a lot of this. If you talk to a mother today, the biggest challenge is keeping the kids away from the screen. Almost 90% of the input today that the kids are growing up with is coming through screens. It's worrisome in some ways. But yet, I would think that cutting edge technology for which industry does the research will continue to be there. I wanted to put a word of caution out there that as a social responsibility, we have to also see how we overcome this challenge that the society is experiencing as a byproduct of bringing in all these technology. I work in a place where I'm fortunate to see all the best practices in the industry and the academia. And that is where, Mamtaji, I was going to respond to your requirement that as you build these programs and impart them to a very large number of audience, how do you keep the quality of it? And we have relationships here with several universities. They are market leaders or leaders in the academic world, Stanford, MITs of the world. And I'm sure that I would be happy to play a part in leveraging them for the programs that we in India are building. Let's remember one thing. When India produces the largest numbers of engineers, and I was looking at some numbers. They say we produce 1 million engineering graduates, and I think we must be close to that number, approximately. The big beneficiary of our engineers are also the Western developed countries. If we sit back and reflect as to what has happened, the migration of people, we will very clearly see that there was a trend. It started with labor. Then came the hypots, the most precious mind that the country had. They were the ones who started to move out. But thereafter came the Y2K. And the Y2K was a realization that almost half of the population in the technical world could work anywhere in the world from India. It was a great realization that you didn't have to be the top 2% from India to qualify and do noteworthy work in the Western countries. Year 2000 was the year in which the highest migration of technical people happened. And they were not the 2% engineers from the country. There were masses of engineers. And all of them had relevance, knowledge, skills that served the Western and developed country well. Y2K happened and passed, no noise. So I continue to believe that what India produces from the academia is for the great good of the world. And this migration of knowledge, mind, and people will continue. It's a healthy thing. With that, I will stop. Best wishes to your program. And like I said, I will endeavor to embellish your program through my participation and reaching out to the academic world here in US. Thank you, Mamtaji.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so much. I completely agree with you that once I was talking to one of a macro level academic leader, and I asked him why so many engineers. And he said that whenever you have visited abroad, few things which you may have noticed about the Indians being there, that they were part of the labor force. So there is no harm in sending the labor force because of our demographic dividend. But why send it at the lower strata? Why don't we send it at the mid segment and the upper strata? And when now I visit California and all that western side, I always realize that the Indian community and the Chinese community are much better off and even wealthier as compared to many natives. So I think that is the difference we definitely made. But yes, quality is our concern, sir, and Attal Academy will look forward to your continuous guidance, whatever we can do, because at the end of the day, it is academia's responsibility to develop the right kind of human capital index in terms of development, and it is industry which would employ it and get benefited. So both are absolutely complementary, supplementary, and symbiotic to each other. So thank you so very much for your time. All my respected, distinguished coordinators, please take these Attal Academies very, very seriously and make sure that your participants attend them with utmost sincerity. Thank you so very much. With your permission, we are closing today's program. Thank you.